say on the Mirror's live TV that you're never more than 5 minutes away from a snog, and you're about 25 seconds away from a snog here. It's from ITV's hit medical drama Peak Practice. It's got a surefire prescription for success, hasn't it? It's got snappy storylines about the lives and loves of a group of doctors in the lovely Derbyshire Dales. Kevin Whately and Amanda Burton have left the show, but new doctor Kate Webster is guaranteed to set a few pulses racing.
She looks nice.
Don't you believe it?
Do you miss her?
Cruella de Vil, like a hole in the head. I miss the boys, though.
You're doing better than me. I threw Greg's stuff out.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Something like that. Still a little bitter and twisted.
You look okay to me.
Is this the bit where you say, shall we go upstairs?
I think it is.
Yeah, he barely touched lips before you were getting him up the wooden stairs.
I know. Forward girl.
When do you... Actually, it's your first appearance. Is it coming up this week?
No, I was in it last night, actually.
Oh, right.
I was in episode 1. I'm not in the next episode, and then I carry on, and our relationship develops from then on.
From then on. So you're sort of an item. It's sort of clear from that clip there that you've both gone through divorces.
Yes.
So
We've both been fairly damaged, so we go into this relationship scared. Yeah.
Right.
It's happened very quickly. I mean, I don't know about you. Do you watch The Adventures of Superman on a Saturday
Yes,
night?
I love it.
Isn't it great?
Isn't it great?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I
But
keep trying to get my hair done.
Isn't it a mistake? Yes, like Lois, yeah. Isn't it a mistake, though, that they've got together? I think it's taken a lot of that dramatic tension out of
and
it.
her character's changed, and she's become terribly sort of sweet, and I liked it when she
her
was
being
tough
feisty,
and feisty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Did you see what I'm worried about?
They've got to manufacture a kind of a storyline for each episode, which shows her being fed up with him because he's Superman, or the other way around.
Yes.
They break up and get back together every single episode.
But the reason I asked you was because is there a slight danger that you two have got together too quickly? Should there have been more tension, perhaps, between the doctors?
Hard question. Well, we don't actually get it together until episode 5, and then we do have the usual spit-spat relationship, and there's fallings out, and will I move in, won't I move in? I mean, yeah, it's always a problem. I suppose if you bring it in episode 10, though, everybody's waiting for it to happen. It happens in the last 5 seconds, and then it's over.
And you feel cheated, I suppose.
Yeah. And it was nice kissing Simon, so, you know, I enjoyed it.
He and his wife are good friends of you and your husband, aren't they?
Yes, they are, yeah. We used to live literally 2 doors from each other in Shepherd's Bush, you know, 2 doors away from each other.
Does that make it more difficult to play a love scene with someone that you actually do know socially, you've had dinner with and all that?
He's a very, very good friend, and that is hard. I mean, he is now, yeah. He's a very, very good friend, and it's very nice to kiss him. What can I say? You know, it blends it. It was fine. It was fine.
Right. Okay. Well, do you regard this as being a major break for you? I mean, it's a very popular series. It gets massive ratings. So, I mean...
I bet your agent does.
Yeah, I think she does too. I've been around for a long time. I mean, I've done a lot of television. I've worked in the States a lot. I was there for 7.5 years doing, you know, extensive television work, A-Team, blah, 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 things like that. It is a big break in the sense that it's a hugely watched show, and I don't think I've ever worked in such a highly profiled show, so yeah, it is a break,
And what about the sexiest doc on the box tag, which we've been relentlessly plugging all morning?
Oh,
it's been said about 8 times already.
I'm really flattered. I'm really flattered.
I think our producer decided that.
Oh, very nice, thanks.
Well, there is something, well, as Judy has confessed in the past on this program, there is something innately sexy about a male doctor to a lot of women, is there not?
Well, yeah.
Well, everybody's in love with Will. I mean, you know, everybody's in love with Simon Shepherd. I don't even really get a look in. I mean, in Derbyshire, everybody was just stampeding me to get to him.
Oh, really? He gets mobbed, does he?
Yeah, he does. He really does. He stopped to get some milk, and suddenly he was swamped with his women. And I was saying, yeah, you know, I'm in it too. And I'm going, really? Oh, yeah, well,
but you're a woman.
Aside. Yeah, a woman, yeah.
Oh, it won't be long, you'll be swamped by the men.
When did you go to America then? It's quite unusual for an English woman to make a career out there, isn't it?
I did it the wrong way round. You know, I went before I was anybody. I was fed up with England. I went over when I was 23 years old. I'd done a big thing over here called Cream in My Coffee, and I didn't work for 6 months afterwards. And I thought, well, sod this, I'm going. And I went to Canada first, worked there for a year, and then went on to Los Angeles and worked in Los Angeles for 7 years. I used to come back, but I was based there.
And you say you're in the A-Team with George Peppard and Mr. T and all that?
Mr. T.
Yeah? That was such a laugh, that for our kids.
I loved it. I was quite, you know, it's a big thing to get it because, you know, I was...
Did you play a Brit or an American?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Mr. T said I had soft hands. That's all he said to me the whole show, and I couldn't speak to him. I couldn't think of a thing to say to him, but he said...
There have been sort of, rumours since that actually it wasn't a very happy show set because George Peppard and Mr. T couldn't stand
Is
each
that
other.
true?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's what they say. Actually,
never
we have
spoke to
interviewed
each other,
both of
actually.
them, and they wouldn't speak about the other one very much.
Well, the thing is, George Peppard had been a star, hadn't he, for decades, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
the Blue Max and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Mr. T was like, came from nowhere.
Yeah.
And I think there was a bit of the old, this is what we hear. We
Mr.
weren't there,
T
you
was
were.
swamped with bodyguards. I mean, he
Yeah.
had 15 bodyguards, and, you know, you had to sort of get through them to say you were introduced as the guest star of that week. Hi, Mr. T, gold chains,
Yes,
and then you
huge
left.
rings, a
Huge
lot.
rings and
Yeah.
soft hands, and then I left. And George Peppard was lovely, really a nice man
Yes,
to work with.
So why did you come back?
Oh, divorce.
Oh,
Personal things. No, and
Right.
also it was time to come back. I'd been there 7 years, and my agent in London kept saying, you have to decide where you're going to be. You can't keep doing this. You know, I was trying to keep a career going here, I was trying to keep it going. So I came back and I put my toe in the water over here and I thought, actually, you know, I want to live in England now. I miss it, and it's time to come back. I'd been to enough aerobic classes. And
Well, I was going to ask about that. I mean, when we were over in America on holiday some time ago, they were doing an episode of, now what was it, Thunder in Paradise or something, I think with Hulk Hogan. And we saw a lot of the actresses who were in the smaller parts, but they were never out of the gym. There was a hotel gym, and they were always in the gym, weren't they? You know, 3 hours at a time. You found that impressive, did you?
Yeah, there's a huge pressure to look good. I mean, if you're looking tired or whatever, they start to bring in large lights and lots of makeup and
They tell you.
and tell you,
Yeah.
go to a plastic surgeon. But yes, there was a pressure. I mean, I'm better at looking at the machines in the gym than actually using them. You know, I'm not very good at all. I used to make a pretense of going to the gym.
Yeah.
You actually had a very severe operation on your spine, didn't
yeah,
you?
yeah,
which
huge.
must have caused some problems. Or you were sort of virtually flat on your back for several months.
Yes, yes, I was. I was 5 weeks in a hospital and having major fusions done to my spine and complaining bitterly about it. I was the worst patient. I mean, I would be.
What would have happened had you not had that operation?
I
Was
think
it
it-
called
Scoliosis. It would have got worse. I mean, it was fine as it was, but my surgeon said, look, you know, you're fine now, but when you're 55 or 60, you're going to have problems with your
Is
spine.
your spine curving?
It was beginning to curve, yeah. And he said, if we do something now,
Yeah.
it will be fine. But if we don't do it now, and he kept saying, you know, you're over 30. And I said, yeah, but I'm not old. And he said, yes, but you're over 30. You know, this is
Yeah.
a serious operation. Let's get it done now.
Yes.
As opposed to coming
Yeah.
back to me when you're 55 and you're in trouble.
Right. And it's fine now, is it?
Fine, yeah.
Good.
I'm probably stronger than anybody
Well, you
else's
could
back.
probably do it yourself after this series. Pick up enough
I
tips
don't
on the
think
way.
so. I'm too squeamish.
Oh, well, I'm glad you said that, because we have a friend at the moment. Hello, Diane, if you're watching.
Hello, Diane.
Who's
Hi.
just been having an operation on her, nothing like as serious as yours, on the top of her back. So it'll be comforting for her to know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I think it's the recovery period. That's the tough bit. You've got to sit there and wait to get better. And that, for me, was the hardest thing, because I'm not a patient person. But,
No, you're a doctor person.
Yeah, I'm a doctor.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on it.
Thank
anyway.
you.
Big practice.
Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Thanks
You'll
very
be in
much.
it for many,
Yeah,
many
absolutely.
seasons to come.
That's right,
Cheers.
thanks.
Thanks a lot.